Thank you, Cancora. Minister, tonight you, I, and I suppose every member in this House will go home to a house. I won't say we will go home to a warm house, but it's because of the weather. And hopefully we'll get a good night's sleep. Tonight, in this city and other cities, and even parts of rural Ireland, people go into a hotel room, crowded in, one family, no proper facilities for cooking, no proper facilities for sleeping, crushed into an area where, with other families, use toilet facilities and everything else. And it is a crying shame what's going on in this country. Homelessness has reached unprecedented levels. Surging rents, historically high. Home building numbers, as you've heard time and time again, are tens of thousands behind where they should be. And we're told about the new Ireland, this great Ireland, more jobs, more opportunities for people. The sad fact is, yes, there are more opportunities for many people, I acknowledge that. But there are so many people outside the loop. And it is true what Deputy Cahill said. There's this type of word being thrown, not saying you personally now, Minister, in fairness to you, but the word is thrown out, why are these people homeless? Why can't they pull themselves together? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? I'm sure you as a politician knows well. You come across it in your clinic, as the rest of us do, the many circumstances, the hardship and sorrowful stories that we get week in, week out. One example I'll give you of which is a terrible anomaly in the system at the moment, and it's in every county. It's not just an urban scenario, it's in the rural counties as well, where I and you and other members know people working hard, 5 days a week, earning up in the morning early, getting kids out to school, coming home at night, getting everything ready for the next morning, maybe earning 27,000 per annum. Too much for a social house, too little to service alone. There's a growing number of those people out there, and they're frustrated, and they're upset, and they're annoyed, because I'll tell you what's happened to them now. Quite a number of people who had been renting property, and because prices have come up, are selling those properties. And the fact is, the people that I am referring to are being shoved from Billy to Jack. They're good tenants, do a good job, pay their rent, but they're being shoved around the place with nowhere to go. And I had a woman in my office in recent weeks who just broke down and wept after she was told she couldn't qualify for a house anywhere. 2 children, one going on to college, one in secondary school. And I'm ashamed to say, as a parliamentarian, to be meeting situations like this in this great Ireland, that there are so many opportunities, according to our Taoiseach in particular. And I wonder, when he was in New York putting in such an effort to get a seat for Ireland on the United Nations Security Council, did he tell people in the UN about our housing crisis? Did he speak about it? What would they think of it? I don't think they'd be too impressed. All of us in this House have a responsibility to solve this crisis. If we don't, we're a failure. But you know yourself all of the launches. I'll go through them again. Construction 2020, Social Housing Strategy 2020, Rebuild in Ireland 2016, the 2012 Capital Plan, the 2015 Capital Plan and the 2018 Plan. 6 separate plans. And then you take into account the numerous relaunches involved. As I said earlier, house building numbers are tens of thousands behind what they originally claimed. You know that government figures overstated completions by nearly 60%, with only 14,500 units actually built last year. Typically, over the past 45 years, new build has been between 20 and 30,000 per annum, rising to over 40,000 as far back as 1998. And that was in keeping with economic expansion, population growth and society change with smaller household sizes. And now we have the added situation, and it's great to hear of jobs announcement and foreign direct investment. But as you know, there's another problem arising: accommodation for workers, the cost of rent for workers. There's a knock-on effect here which is going to be serious for this economy. And again, as I say, it has to be solved. Now, Fianna Fáil as a party has placed housing front and centre as a key priority for this Dáil. We are trying to work constructively on the two budgets to date and put forward 10 bills in the area to help address the crisis. We have to get this matter solved. You talk about the National Development Plan, setting out commitments of €1.6 billion capital spending per annum up to 2027. However, I must point out to you, this is just 84% of the €1.385 billion we as a party spent on social housing capital investment in 2008. So we're way behind on our spend. And yet, our population is rising. It's increasing constantly. In addition, the government is overseeing abysmal apprenticeship numbers. In 2017, only 60 apprentices registered for brick and stone laying, and 34 for plastering, far short of what is required to even meet the government-limited 25,000 housing units target. The Rebuilding Ireland Home Loan is just effectively a rebrand of existing local authority mortgage schemes. New name, new launch, nothing different. In the absence of increasing supply, it will not enable more people to buy their own home. Only 1 in 3 applications is successful. 1 in 3, Minister, in the midst of the worst crisis we've ever had in housing. The Affordable Purchase Scheme is very vague. It lacks timelines. It lacks sufficient scale. The subsidy per site currently works out at 16,000, far less than the 31,000 to 50,000 in the 1999 scheme. It does not recommence the affordable housing schemes Fine Gael abolished in 2012. And it will not tackle, and I think you know this yourself, it will not tackle affordability. Only 400 units are targeted this year, and funding is still far behind the 150 billion allocated in 2008. The government had committed to the affordable rent scheme. It announced a pilot project for affordable rent since 2015, but is only now getting around to it. Again, it's a lot of spend and there's no substance. 2015, 2016, 2017, we're now in 2018, Minister. So I can go on and on and on and on. I don't intend to do that. I'm clearly expressing my dissatisfaction, like most members here this evening. And it is very important that we start building houses. And we have to go back to the local authorities, bricks and mortar, a scheme that they build X number of houses each year. There's such a backlog there at the moment, as you know, we all know. And it's going to take quite a while to clear that, even if we had better figures. So I would say to you, while we're supporting the bill, we have a lot of reservations, a lot of issues, and I intend to bring more detail to you on the Housing Minister in the weeks ahead, even though it will be the Summer Minister, but you might get a chance to read it at some stage.
Thank you. Now, Deputy